new era in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Eagles had hired Nick Sirianni as their new head coach. Just a little background information on him. In 2009, he was the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback coach. He was the Chargers offensive coordinator in 2014 and 2015, and he was the quarterbacks coach for the Indianapolis Colts, and he was the right-hand man to Frank Reich. Now, an interesting thing about this is it came down to two candidates. There were two candidates that the Eagles were going to hire. It was Nick Sirianni, which is the one they hired, obviously, and Josh McDaniels. So, hey, look, that's a big choice to make. But before I give my opinion on that choice, I'll start off with you, Nate. Your thoughts on Nick Sirianni becoming the new head coach for the Eagles?
Congratulations, Nick Sirianni. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. It's indeed a new era. Now that Doug Peterson isn't there. Obviously, of course, I don't think you mentioned this, but he was also excuse me, not the head coach, the offensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. He helped make that offense one of the best in the league last season. So I mean, he's got a lot at his disposal. Like I said with Raheem Morris, he has a lot at his disposal for the Rams defense. Nick Sirianni has a lot going on for him for this team. I mean, this team should have been one of the better teams this last few years. And unfortunately, that has not been the case. And a lot of that reason obviously was injuries, which is something a lot of teams have to deal with. But their star quarterback Carson Wentz always getting injured. That's a big blow to the team. Deshaun Jackson getting injured, that's another big deal. Same thing with Miles Sanders, he'll get injured here and there. All these star players getting injured. So, and also a lot of the reasons why this team was also bad was because of the coaching. I say this a lot about every single coach. You make the Super Bowl, right? Am I saying make the Super Bowl again? No, that's very difficult to do. And it's even more difficult to win it back to back. But what I'm saying is this: you got that team, you win it, right? You got to keep that consistency. And Doug Peterson wasn't keeping that consistency following that Super Bowl consecutive 9-7 seasons. And now, what was it, like a 4-11-1 season this year? I don't know, something like that. Yeah. So Nick Sirianni, and I trust that he will because he has a great offensive mind. He's good at that. He's a very good offensive coordinator, in my opinion. I think he will get this team back to playoff hope. I think it'll take a couple more years for the Eagles to get back to the Super Bowl because there's other contenders in the NFC. If the Buccaneers keep their team, that's a team to worry about. The Packers are always a threat. Um, the Seahawks are usually always a threat too. You gotta look out for that team. And there are other teams on the rise to try and beat those threats. So in my opinion, I think it'll take a couple of years for the Eagles to make it back to the Super Bowl. And it's just a lot. There's just a lot they need to do before that team becomes a contender once again. And obviously, getting new coaches is a start to that rebuilding process. So with that said, he's also got a young quarterback in Jalen Hurts. He looks like he has a very bright future in Philadelphia. The way he played in those last few games, he looks very bright, and I'm sure he'll utilize him pretty well. And I'm not sure if Carson Wentz is coming back either. So we don't know. We don't know that yet. But with that said, congratulations to Nick Sirianni. And congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll give it to you now, Mario.
First of all, congratulations to Nick Sirianni on becoming the new head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, so offensively, yes, he has all the tools. Where's the defense? What do we just toss them
Yeah,
everywhere?
right.
That's the problem I have right here. Is that you have a guy who can transcend this offense. He's done it with the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Colts. He's done it. But what do you have for defense? You don't have anything right there. I know. I understand you're keeping your defensive coordinator. I think that's Jim Schwartz. I believe it might be Jim. I think it's Jim Schwartz. I think that's who their defensive coordinator is. I'll double check that right now because I don't want to.
Uh,
Jim Schwartz is defense. Yeah, so they're keeping Jim Schwartz, or no, he was the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. So now you got to look for a defensive coordinator. Here's the thing: again, when you hire a head coach that focuses on one side of the ball, okay, you need to hire a defensive coordinator who's more than capable of handling the other side of the ball. You understand what I'm saying? We said this a million times. So you hire an offensive coach that was an offensive coordinator and basically worked on offense his entire life. Now it's time for you to go grab a defensive coordinator. And Nick Sirianni is a very young head coach. He's only 39 years old. So when you really look at it, and they got a very young coach who has longevity, who can stay in this league and who will continue to coach the Philadelphia Eagles for a long time, if he is very good. But on the other hand, you got to worry about that defense now. You need to get a defensive coordinator who is able to fully help this Philadelphia Eagles defense become successful. Now, obviously, you lose Malcolm Jenkins, and that's obviously a hard pill to swallow. You still have Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of your work with the Philadelphia Eagles, I think a lot of their work this year should be on defense. I think they really need to focus on that defense because Jalen Hurts looked pretty good. Jalen Hurts has been looking pretty good for the amount of games he's played this season. Next season, will he look that good? I'm not sure. Next season will be the real test for Jalen Hurts. But defensively, that defense has improved anything. That defense has improved nothing since that Super Bowl win. I'm sorry, but that defense has not been that great. And honestly, that's the place you should be focused on the most. You have a good offense, you know what I'm saying? I understand people look at the Eagles and like, well, they're not that great, right? But you have a good offense. Jalen Hurts is pretty good. Fulgham has become a decent wide receiver. Arcega-Whiteside has his moments. Trying to think, I always forget this guy's name, the wide receiver from TCU, the one that I always forget his name. Oh my God, the one that was drafted above Justin Jefferson. I always forget his name, man. But
Jalen Reagor, is that right?
Jalen Reagor. Thank you. Jalen Reagor could become a very good wide receiver for them. So you have the offensive pieces to make this work. Defensively, you don't have those pieces. You have Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, and I think that's about it. Simple as that. And that's what they need to focus on is getting a defensive team and a defense good enough to work side by side with that offense. Because if they don't fix that defense, Philadelphia ain't winning nothing. I don't know how many games where they scored over 20 points and defense just couldn't hold them back. I don't know how many times this year happened, but that's what they need to focus on. And obviously, Nick Sirianni, I wish him the best of luck. He's great offensively, but defensively, you really need to focus, and you really need to find a defensive coordinator that is more than capable of taking the Philadelphia Eagles defense to new heights.